Well, that's a fast intro, Jacob.
My buttons are messed up, apparently. That's fun, right?
Yay.
So no intro for you guys today.
You're going to hit it later, and it's going to mess you up so much worse.
Yeah, I'm wondering why. Yeah, they are messed up. Definitely messed up. Can confirm.
Woohoo! Don't you just love when technology stops working, man?
Yeah, I have no idea why. But no intro for you guys today. We're just getting into it.
I guess so. So in other words, what's up, Buzz Squad? It's your boy Dalton, back at it again with the ginger from over there, so far away. But today we're talking about some cards that need some reprints, huh?
Yeah, so Buddyfight's not been great. Okay, that's not true. Buddyfight's been pretty decent this season with reprints, but there are a lot of other cards that need reprints. Specifically, the game's at a pretty high cost point right now, so we thought it would be fun to kind of design a list or a set of just reprints for Buddyfight. And we took a lot of things into consideration with it and tried to pick the best cards for it. So the first thing we did was we limited it to just 3 cards per world, right?
Sounds about right. We rolled a d20 and that's what happened. Landed on a 3.
Sure. We limited it to 3 because we figured it would probably be a smaller set, and we wanted to really just hone in on the best cards to reprint. So we also wanted to value cards that would be effective reprints. So that means things that are, 1, really expensive, generally, but 2, in demand. You know, they're things people actually want to get a hold of. Or 3, and this is one of the big ones, cards that aren't just good right now that will continue to be good in the future. Now, some of our cards don't necessarily apply for that. Some of them are specifically only good for one deck, but a lot of them we tried to pick more generic support that every deck can use, so everyone can enjoy the set. Either way, if this set, like exactly as we've designed it, were ever actually physically printed by Bushido, it would automatically be the best set in Buddyfight history.
Well, hold on. Back that up a little bit. You were under the impression that it was a set. I, on the other hand, was not. So therefore, 2 different looks at this. I was just thinking, oh yeah, these cards just really need reprints, and we don't want to go into like 18,000 cards and then be like, oh, this is a long stream. But yeah,
so
it'd be fun one way or the other.
It's interesting because this list is kind of a mix between older cards that just never got the reprint they deserved and newer, expensive staple cards. So that's going to be fun to go through. And we sorted this generally in the order of the worlds being introduced, but with generic at the end, because why not?
Yeah.
We're not taking in consideration rarity or anything. We also generally tried to not make it all spell cards, but we failed in some cases. Oof, right?
No, we didn't fail. That's just how the world was designed to be generic enough for it. So it's the way it works. So you ready to just get this going?
Only if you mention that we have super chats enabled beforehand.
Why would I have to if you just did?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I think this is going to be a fun look at Buddyfight cards that need to get reprinted. And of course, we're going to start off with Dragon World. This world's going to be interesting because there are a lot of really good Dragon World cards, but we wanted ones that are going to be useful now and in the future, and we kind of got that. Another thing, which I actually forgot to mention earlier, is a big plus for us were cards that were previously hard to get. So maybe they're a box topper or a shop tournament promo, the type of thing that not every player is going to have access to. And I'm mentioning that now because I know it comes up with our Dragon World choices. What's our first?
Our first card, even though it's not really that generic, it's just one expensive promo, is Shoot Shackles Black Chain, the promo for Blood Dragon Sect.
Yeah, so this one is totally goes against our methodology here of trying to get more generic things, but we feel it's justified. How expensive is he? Like $35 a copy?
Yeah, we're on there.
And he's 3 to 4 of staple.
No. Four of it's, there is no three. Three is if you can't get the fourth. It's very simple.
So, I mean, just that singular reprint will do a huge amount to make a deck that doesn't need to be so expensive a lot more accessible for players. And it's a really fun deck, right? You play it.
I do. I have a lot of fun with it. We'll see if they get more support in the future, but that's besides the point. But it's not only just a great card for them, it's nice to try to get that price lower. And because everything else, I would say, for the deck is relatively decently priced, I think Bloody Eyes itself, or Deadly Eyes, my bad, is roughly 15, which isn't too bad looking at it from price perspective. So, and everything else is kind of below it outside of the one promo. So, and make it easier for budget players as well.
I mean, let's say this reprint drops the card's price from $35 a copy to $5, right? That's saving you $120 off the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
basically.
Which is next?
We got Dragot Var.
So this was an interesting one. It's a relatively well-played, generic Dragon World support card that I think is pretty good. It's currently sitting around $11 to $12. Not too crazy, but it's also a little hard to come by because it's out of Buddy Lineage, which was, kind of a mess of a set, right? I believe it was in the secret pack. Someone check that?
Yes, it was in a secret pack.
Yeah. So I think that would be a good choice just to give everyone access to it better, because a lot of people run it in main board or sideboard in a lot of different decks.
Yes, this is true. It's fantastic. The nice little draw with it when you're destroying a monster on your opponent's field or just dropping souls is great, versatile, and useful. Very useful. I have nothing else really to say about it.
Nope. Next one.
Next, we got Disturb Hand Dragon. Needs to get reprinted. It is too big of a staple in Dimension Dragons. You don't see it being played in many other Dragon World decks just because they can't fit it in, I feel like. If they could fit it in, you would totally see it in other decks, but Dimension Dragons can just get away with it, I feel like.
Yeah, it's interesting because we didn't actually directly reprint anything for Dimension Dragons, but like Disturb Hand Dragon works for them. But it's also the type of card that could end up seeing a ton of play in other decks in the future, future archetypes. It's a very, very, very strong card. Out of a particularly not great set, that being the Golden Buddy pack. It would be very interesting to see it get a reprint also because we'd get a normal foiling for it, not the golden thing, which would be really interesting to see, I think. The card's surprisingly very fluctuating in its price. Anywhere, it's gone as low as 5, as high as 20, depending on how many people need it at the moment. It's a very fluctuating card, but it would be very good to get a reprint of it.
This is true. This is very true. There's a lot of stuff going on talking about that should just be legacy support. No, that's not the point of this. This is for reprints. It can be from any era. It can be from last set if it's that important.
Right. The point of this is to make things cheaper for people, and make those budget players have access to the cards that those people willing to dish out fat stacks have been able to, for the past couple years.
Right.
It's really a shame sometimes with some of these cards because I go to regionals and I have a stack of them, and there's always someone who's like, I have the deck finished, but I don't have my Disturb Hand Dragons because I can't get them. And it's a good mix, I think, I think we, as we continue through the list, you'll see there's a good balance between old cards and recent cards that are way too expensive.
Yes,
It's all
that's
about
true.
saving you money.
And to be fair, we might have missed cards too, because like now I'm just thinking about it because I saw it. You know, we're forgetting about the Demios, Catastrophe, and Evolution and Mutation. They
Yeah.
definitely needed it. You know, there's some things we'll forget, but
Right, and we
we went for the
limited
main.
ourselves to 3, and that's up to debate. Of course, we want your guys' opinions on what you think should be reprinted.
Yeah. So what, Danger now?
Danger.
Well, we got Fang Dragon Declaration. To be honest, I don't really think it needs to be reprinted, even though, yes, I know it's expensive, but it's a real crappy spell null because you can only do it when you're attacking in Danger World. So this is more of a Jacob's reasoning behind it type deal. You gonna flip to yourself or?
So the issue here was I wasn't paying attention to what you're saying because I was reading chat. So what card are we on? Which Danger World one did you bring up? Because you're kind of running through them in a random order.
How?
It's like you went monster, then a spell, and then a monster. And
That's how we
and drag.
put it in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
list.
I know.
That wasn't random. That's
My
how
point
we
is,
did it.
I don't know which one we're starting with. Which card is it?
Which one was the first Danger World card we talked about?
The spell null.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the card I'm talking about.
Danger World has a spell null, but unless you're playing Buddyfight in Season 1, you don't have it. It's not the greatest spell null ever, but it's the best they're ever going to get because it would be absurdly broken otherwise. But that's purely the type of thing that punishes newer players. So if you want to play dual golems and have access to it, you're out of luck unless you happen to have a fat stack of bulk at home from Season 1. I mean, even in our play group, it's hard to come across copies of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it's like virtually sold out everywhere at this point. Because Dragon vs. Danger wasn't a very popular set, first of all, and it was short printed in the set as well. So, yeah, it could really use it. Sure, it's not the greatest spell null, but it's a spell null.
I like how chat's talking about there needs to be a split between Ace and Old when they don't realize that's the wrong time to split it at because it should have been splitted at X. Splitted during X, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But I also argued that we shouldn't do that because then it just becomes even worse.
We can discuss that another time, guys.
We can.
Let's focus on reprints and saving you guys some money. If you'd like us to do an episode on that, sure.
What's next? Burst Deity Calling Ritual. The generic draw spell for Danger World. The whole pay a gauge and a life, draw a card, have a weapon, draw another card.
Yeah, it's funny because when that card came out, like, I really, really did not like it. Well, first of all, I'm not really much of a Danger World player at all outside of my boys God Punks. But I really did not see the card as that good, but it's draw power, and it turns out it was really good draw power. I was totally wrong on that. It is a fantastic card, and it's from 100, and apparently Bushido just hates reprinting Buddyfight 100 cards. As you'll see as we go further into the list, there are some other really painfully obvious cards from 100 that haven't got reprinted that really need to be, and this is just one of them.
The more and more we go through all these cards, I'm realizing it's going to be kind of like quick what they do and kind of why. And this kind of going through, you can't really go back and forth for a while.
Right. I don't think that card's actually that expensive, the last one, but it's still good.
No, I think it's still like a $8 or $10 rare.
Yeah. Price
But
is
that's
not the
besides
only
the-
factor.
That's besides the point. Let's see here. Just because Danger World's kind of in that weird spot where they don't have really great generic Danger World cards to be reprinted or be up for reprinted case that are good or worth it.
Yeah.
Even though that's kind of debatable if the first two are even worth it. We just kind of decided my boys Dual Golems needed their boss card reprinted.
Yes.
It'd be nice just because He's solid, makes sense, and makes it a little cheaper because basically the rest of the deck is fairly cheap for dual golems. So make it even cheaper. Let's go, everyone! FTK.
Yeah, so like Danger World's not the worst world for this. Like it's not the one that was hardest for us to pick a third card, but it was up there. Yeah, that third one's totally up to interpretation. You can pick whatever you want in your head canon for the set, you know.
That basically does it for Danger. Off to the Magicula world. So these were basically all just Jacob. I was just kind of there.
Oh yeah, you can confirm this. This took me no time at all. I just went up. Like
no. You struggled on the third.
A little.
And then you realize, oh wait, how much is this card? And you're like, oh yeah, discard.
All right, so what do we got?
Be Gone.
Be Gone is one of the straight up best cards in Buddyfight, and it was from the first booster set as a rare, and it continues to increase in price while it's also increasing in usability. It's the type of card that gets better with every single format, and it will continue to do so. And it's getting really hard to find. Plus, keep in mind it's from the first season in the first set, which also means it is impossible to get a foil copy of it. So this reprint would also give it its first foiling.
Unless they do, because we didn't get into rarities about any of these, because then you'd have a whole new cluster of mess ups and so forth there. But yeah, it depends if it would be a common or if it would somehow be a triple rare for some strange reason.
But either way, it would get something other than just its old gold foiling rare. It's one of the best cards in the format, straight up. And I know Continental World and Hero World have their own version of it as well. And, you know, those might be good reprints. I don't think we put either on our list.
No, we didn't. No.
But Begone's the best of the three just because it's in Magic World. So
that's a lie, but that's the point.
No, it's not. It spells matter the world, man.
No, that's Katana World. I'm sorry. Next we got. Here's a name for you. Gonna murder this. Not like that though. YouTube, understand? Not that murder. Demon Realm Architect, Gagamine. Yeah.
Many of you probably don't even know what that is. It's a card out of Break to the Future. It's a common or uncommon. I'm not sure which offhand. He's decently expensive and hard to get. The reason he's so good is it's because he's an art. No. It's actually because he can toolbox out any set spell. Any. That's always going to be relevant especially in a world that inherently has good set spells. It's always going to be important to have him, and he sees play a lot, surprisingly. A lot of gimmick decks run him, but also he sees experimentation in. I mean, even right now, he's seen experimentation in Garga decks. He's seen experimentation in Plague. He's seen experimentation, well, obviously in 72 Pillars, in Wizards, He's just a fantastic generic support card that other worlds wish they had.
Well, technically Dungeon and Legend already have it. So, yeah. Next card's Holy Magic. And let's be real, it's promo card that's really good. That's Menjo, but weaker. But
stronger, question mark?
Don't you dare.
No.
Don't you.
We really don't have to explain that. It's a great card. It's expensive, and it was really limited in its release.
Because what I think you said it was like 15 or 25 a copy or something like that, like market value or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't remember. It was expensive. That's all that matters.
Like 18 to 20.
It was expensive. All right, Katana World.
So I kind of left this one up to you because I'm really not much of a Katana World player. I never really have been. Like I've played a couple decks out of Katana. I played Skull Warriors for a while and Ninjas, but like they're not my favorite. That's Magic World, man. Give me 72 Pillars and I'm happy.
So these cards are all of my devious mind. One of them might be a little might not be the thing. I'll leave that one up to interpretation once we get to it. But starting off, we have Hiding Oni. Who wouldn't like generic draw spell for any Katana World deck? It's just fantastic. Just dropping a soul and drawing 2 cards. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, and gaining engage too. That's cool too. But draw 2. So perfect. So perfect. You have anything to say on that, or do you want me to just keep going? Gotcha. Gotcha. He just gave me the head nod. It's all good. We got Goryu, the Electro Deity Daryl. Even though it doesn't really matter that she's an Electro Deity because she works in everything. Because, let's be real, check top 3. Yeah, that's kind of straightforward. Jacob, I will interrupt you with your whole talking to chat in chat to talk about our Defiant card because I'm not about to say that.
Oh, I don't even. I don't know. Well, I'm not seeing it right now, so like, no. I don't need your. No. We're talking about a card out of the Golden Buddy pack. It's out of every card we have on our list, it is the least valuable money-wise. But I told you money's not the only factor here. The reason this card was selected was because it's the type of card that's going to get better and better with time. It's just straight up, when it enters the field, mill out any, monster?
Any monster.
Any monster from your deck to the drop zone. That's not relevant. No.
No.
It's also not a once per turn, I don't believe.
I don't believe so either.
Yeah.
But it also depends if Bushi decides to build a deck kind of around that more. Or less. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. But definitely it could be kind of whatever you feel like. Just kind of insert your preferred Katana World card there for reprint. Now, what we got? Ancient World. I'm going to be up front. We only got like 2 cards.
Yeah, so Ancient World is definitely the hardest one. The 2 problems being, 1, Ancient World has so few generic staple cards these days, it's not even funny. And 2, the ones they do have been reprinted to an extreme with some glaring omissions, which are on our list. But we honestly could not think of a good 3rd card.
Second or third.
Second or third? Really?
The second one was just more because it works and makes sense.
All right.
But the first card, the one that hasn't gotten one, is Soaring Fair Skylines. The pay 3, or is it pay 2? Can't remember now.
Can't remember. Pay 3 gauge.
Pay 3 gauge, draw 3, discard 2.
One of the best draw cards in the game, straight up. And it's another example of a card from 100 that weirdly has been ignored by Bushiroad for a reprint, and it desperately needs it. And it goes for, a decent chunk of change for a common or uncommon. I think it's an uncommon. But also it's just a supply issue. Like, people need it. It's a very good card, and it's only going to continue to get better.
Yes. Let's see here. Quick Wit. I know it's an ace card. I know. We're horrible people for bringing up ace, even though ace, in our opinion, well, in my opinion, I shouldn't talk for Jacob, is actually a really good format. So many decks better than what we've seen in the past of only being 2 to 3 decks really being the meta to about 15. That's rough guesstimating. Quick Wit. It's basically a $20 card for LDOs. Might want to get reprinted just to be a little cheaper.
And to be fair, there are other LDO cards we could have chosen, but
that was the best one.
Yeah.
That was the best one. I did see that Speed Robo said Lattice the Tyrants, but no. The only reason why is because he's technically gotten retrains in quotations there. So he's technically been reprinted, but also it wouldn't really work since the deck's not near relevancy.
Yeah,
and that
happened. Problem there.
That happened way back in 100 when he became out of relevancy, and not even because of X or Ace.
Yep. So is that it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ancient World needs some more good
generic stuff.
cards. It used to be the king of that. It used to be the absolute best back in the day when it came to that type of thing. And now it sucks.
No, it doesn't suck.
No,
It's
it
just
sucks
it's
for that.
reprinted everything
Mhm.
outside of like one.
And we haven't really gotten very many new generic staple cards for the deck.
Mm-hmm. Well, we might have, but that's debatable. Dungeon World. Let's see. We have Chaos Ozerkline.
So this one's not crazy expensive. It's only like $3-4. But he's a card that's really good and is going to see a lot more demand once the new Chaos support is out. And he was not reprinted in that. And
Surprisingly.
he's out of the double deck thing, so
Yep.
it wasn't something you could get in a standard booster pack. So we thought he would be a good choice.
Yeah, that's true. It is a great card. It's recycling. It's Dragon Emperor Legend for the Chaos. I can't remember the exact condition to see if it's generic enough to use in just normal Dungeon World. But if it is, even better. If it's not, we tried. Now, unfreezing. Very simple. Daryl has a spell for Dungeon World. Do I need to keep going any further?
No, it's such a good card. It's absurd how hard it is to get. It was in New World Chaos, which was a pretty big set as a short printed rare. Yeah, and you should see the price on foils.
Let's not. This one again is an ace card, but it's not an ace deck that's.
Hey, real quick, I just thought about this.
What?
Imagine how expensive Unfreezing is going to be once Dungeon World's good again with its new support.
Stop it! Stop it! This one is a little future proofing. I feel like with what's coming out for Blazing Overclass, what we've seen on Buddy Spoiler, Hexen Ceremony for Folktale, just to kind of see how that's going to go about. You know, see if Folktale ends up being splashable, and then got another draw card in Dungeon World.
Mm-hmm. Alternatively, we could have picked Emma or even like Bonus Quest, but we thought this would be a good choice.
The only reason why we didn't pick Bonus Quest was the fact that it was cheaper. They're basically the same thing. One's just more specific. Yes, but people just don't see the glory of Bonus Quest. And I feel like until they realize that, I'll keep it down low. Keep it on down low. Also, we're doing pure world cards.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Dalton's fighting for dual world, guys. Jacob's just being a butt about it.
It's so clean this way, man.
Won't be clean. It's dirty.
Oh. What else you got?
And we're on Legend World. What are you talking about? All right, so Legend World's going to be pretty easy. It's your boy who did basically everything except for one card. Jacob got that one card. I'll give him that.
Yeah, because, like,
just because it's a weird card, it doesn't need to be reprinted, but it wouldn't be bad
It's
either.
funny, though, because, like, all the good Legend World cards have been reprinted recently. We just got our Yidris Guard reprint, which would have been number 1 on the list.
Your what?
Yingle. Sorry.
Yes, Yingle Guard.
Yingle Guard. You've got your great spell, whatever it's called, the phase ender. Even Brethren Guard's gotten a couple reprints.
So first off, we have Osira Guard. Yes, it does technically have a promo version, but that promo version is also it's not as expensive as Osira Guard, but at one point they were the same price, and it was kind of scary for a second. Basic, it's a great staple. Helps the deck. You can just throw it in, and it helps in case you're like short 2 cards. Perfect card to throw in. Next, we got King of the Forest. We just cut it there. We're not going to go into his name.
Slatahog or something like that. He's the deer dude.
There's no H in
He's
his
the
name.
deer dude.
But where did the hog come from?
I forgot what the end was. I got the front, and then I just like ad-libbed the end of it. What's he do?
Gain 2 gauge on enter. Like, there are cards that are coming out that do this from discard or have come out / also already do it, but it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, and he's surprisingly expensive.
Oh yeah, it's a double rare, but still, it wouldn't hurt. Lastly, we have Dealcrum Pantheum. I'm pretty sure that's how you're supposed to say it.
Yeah,
Wanna go
so
with it?
I still don't know what this card is.
So this card is a promo card that I've seen a few times, and I've wanted to throw into decks, and then I'm like, wait, I don't have this card. Basically, it's a set spell, and when it's on board, your size 2 or less are protected from being destroyed, and with a counter ability to rest a monster or item on your opponent's field by pitching a card from hand. It's solid. It should get reprinted. Legend World is discard.deck. It works in swords, heroes, fairies, widers, legend dragons, even though that's not out, but it's out. Toilets, it works with everything in Legend World, so it should definitely get a reprint. And I think it should be a staple in Legend World because, let's be real, who wouldn't want to rest some cards?
Yeah, resting cards is good. Ooh, he's flipping to the next page.
Darkness Dragon World. Yee. If you want to get technical, yes, Darkness Dragon World did come out because I believe they got their Buddy Rare first. If you want to get that technical, but I think we went more set based, right?
It is debatable, because like you could go by the anime, or you could go by the set releases, or you could go by Buddy Rares, or not by Buddy Rare, or you could go by
Exactly. So, first card might be a little controversial, but Overturn Abigail. It's kind of sad, but also impressive at the same time that it almost single-handedly is keeping Darkness Dragon World in the running.
Despite the card being limited to 1. It's kind of crazy because, like, I'm sorry, I do believe Overturn Abigail is literally the only reason Darkness Dragon World sees any play.
Next we got Gate of Darkness Dragon. It did, in a sense, technically have a reprint, but it was a promo, so I don't count that myself. Doesn't hurt. Kind of recycling your cards and kind of keep some decks going. It might even help. I can't think. Dark Venom Dragons. Almost blanked on their names for a second. Even Curse Dragons. Keep those 2 decks going.
It is a bit weird because it did get reprinted once before, but in this case, the reprint was the hard to get one because it was a shop promo. Which there was that weird period for just a couple months where they were doing reprints as shop promos, which I thought was actually a cool idea. They did that one. I think Excalibur was another one.
Yep. But that also was still harder to find than the other ones, except for Excalibur, because then it was flipped. Still, because Excalibur was triple rare. But that's the point. Last one, Invitation to Death Crown. It is a great card. It stops your opponent from calling things from drop, which is nice. And then rests your opponent's cards for 2 gauge, which is also nice.
Sees tons of sideboard play. Like, I think it's reasonable to say it sees sideboard play in every single Darkness Dragon World deck. And for an uncommon, it's like, what, $3-4, something like that?
Something like that. Yes, we know Daryl needs to get reprints. His reprint can't come fast enough. But the fact he is getting a reprint is why he's not on this list. It will depend. Maybe we'll do another version of this 5 years from now. I don't know. However long it was since the start of Buddyfight, or at least when we started to now. Maybe in 5 more years, if that was the only reprint, we'll talk about him again.
We put Girl Daryl on the list, though.
We put Girl Daryl and we put Spell Daryl. Be happy. Let's be real. Like, yes, Daryl would be a great card to get another reprint after this reprint, but it also depends on how Blazing Overclass kind of shapes up and how much is bought / how easy it is to pull those cards.
Which there's probably going to be a lot bought, so
yes,
yeah.
Let's see here. What's next? Hero World. All right, so this one's going to be pretty straightforward and easy to do.
So we knew the first card immediately, didn't we?
Yeah, it's superhero time. Duh. It's at one point was almost $60 a copy.
I think it's down to 30.
It's down to 35.
Yeah.
It was almost $60 a copy.
And the reason it's down isn't because the card got worse or anything. It's just because the decks got worse. Like if there was a relevant,
the decks didn't get worse.
Yeah, no,
they just became less competitive.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. If we get another Hero World deck that's meta relevant, which we will, it's Hero World, it immediately spikes back up.
What else? What Cosmo Scarf, because it's a fantastic generic nullify.
And it was a box topper.
Yes, it was a box
Golden Garga,
yes.
Which those box toppers were rough to get, man. I mean, we already had one of them in Holy Magic on the list.
Right. Other one me and Jacob kind of debated about, but I ultimately won, is Brave Machine Hanger. It's superhero time at counter speed, but for Gauge.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it because it doesn't draw you anything, but like it's a good card and it could use one. I think there are some other good ones. Someone mentioned Plasma Mine,
Mask Vantage wouldn't be that bad. Because Superherons, I think, did get support recently, or they're going to get support. One of the two. I can't remember. Didn't they get a new frill recently?
I have no idea.
That doesn't matter.
Either way, like you could easily replace that if you don't like it with the Spell Null or the Monster Null. Both are great cards for a reprint.
That too. Or so the dream I had went. Yeah, but Hero World's probably honestly the biggest one to go about, to be like, yes, everything needs to be reprinted type deal.
It's that or Magic.
No, Magic's not in this conversation. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry. What's next? Lost World. That's right. Or should I go into the other Forbidden World?
You skipped the bad one. No.
Star Dragon World.
Dalton originally wanted it to just be Cosmo Dragoons.
I did. I really did.
No, but there are
it's pretty straightforward, I'm not gonna lie. It's Antimatter. I'm just gonna read them off, honestly.
Yeah,
Antimatter Cloud, Future Eater, and Picador Laser, or however you're supposed to say it.
I'll rapid fire why. Antimatter Cloud is another 100 card that desperately needs a reprint. I thought Future Eater would be an interesting choice since it's a 4 of Staple and Y, and that deck could see some good play as a actual budget deck. And Picador Laser because it was ridiculously hard to get because it was the shop challenge promo at probably the worst time for shop. It was the least popular shop tournament season.
Now Lost World. Now these ones, yes, you can almost reprint everything and everyone be happy. Then it would be cheaper and budgety for everyone. But
I mean, Lost World's so egregious with the prices, man.
Let me finish. In my opinion, the first two we're going to talk about are definite must be reprinted, and you can still build everything else rares and under and be fine with the deck, in my opinion.
Yeah, we had some actual debate on the third one, but no contest for the first two.
Dimension Draw, which is your draw 3, discard 2. You need it. It's draw power. It's right there for you. Destroyer, OG, not from the special deck, the actual OG.
You know, the one that's ridiculously expensive.
The one that's almost $100 just for the secret pack one. That's
at times. It's one that fluctuates a lot.
That one, for sure. Last card is Vanity Destruct Vanish, which is the promo impact, which would also help a lot of people, even though you do have the 10 damage one as a rare.
But it's, promo, so that gets extra points for us for wanting to reprint it. We debated on that one for a while, though, because, I wanted Dimension Denial or what was the other one I was thinking? I don't remember. Guess it doesn't matter. But there are tons of Lost World cards. But I think the 3 we picked are the most important 3.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, Dimension Denial, I guess, would be fine to reprint.
See,
But people complain about it, though.
It's weird. See, Dimension Denial, I would have picked, but it's only a double rare in a really popular set. So, like, the demand's high for it, which is why its price is high, but the supply is also very high.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And in my honest opinion, you only need to run 2. You can run more, definitely. You could do you. It's your deck. But don't really need to run that many, in my opinion. So there should, in a sense, be an abundance.
Whereas I'd rather reprint a promo that's even more expensive and is a promo box topper that was really hard to get.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Generic world. Recovery Veil. Straightforward. It needs to get it. Buddy Block got it. Where's Recovery Veil, Bushi? Loyalty. Just because it's still important, and yes, it did get a reprint, but it needs another.
I do believe this is the only card on the entire list that's already been reprinted, and it needs it. It still needs it. I'd argue it's not as good as it was, but there will be formats in the future where it's even better than it was during like X format, and it's still really expensive. A second reprint of it wouldn't hurt anything.
And lastly, this is Jacob's thing, just to get the text right on the card. Gambit.
Yeah, so Gambit's not particularly expensive. It's only like $1, but it's a good card and it sees quite a bit of play at the 1 copy you're allowed. And I thought it would be really nice to get a new version of it with its errata text.
Mm-hmm. Even though any other generic card that was released during X and Ace would have been better, but that's besides the point.
I'm standing by that one. Like,
how
many people are asking for Buddy Option to get reprinted, man?
I'd love it to get reprinted.
I'd rather have a new Gambit.
No,
Plus,
you wouldn't. Stop lying.
It's another.
Stop lying.
No, I'm
Stop
serious.
lying.
Plus, it's another case where Gambit was never available as a foil, so that would be nice, to actually get that ability.
No.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it. Get some help.
Hey, you know what? Speed Robo says he's down for Gambit too, and I respect his opinions. So,
but he's also saying that every generic card from X and Ace should be reprinted. So
but if you only had 3,
so therefore you're wrong still.
Nah,
you're still wrong.
Nah.
Now the secret world that Jacob didn't realize that I did. The dual world cards, baby. I told you it was gonna happen. Told you.
I don't think they're necessary, but like there are some good dual world cards that need reprints.
What you mean they're not necessary?
Like, okay, if this set existed without those, it would already be the best set in Buddy Fight history. So like that's just
if it's a reprint
icing
set,
on top. Like you ever see those like milkshakes that places do where you got like donuts and then like things hanging off of it, so it's like diabetes in a cup. That's what you're getting there.
So Banquet of the Unrighteous, very simple. First card right off the bat. Basically a $20 card. Like just go off that. Utilizing almost everything. It's kind of a weaker version of Daryl, but still fine. Let's see here. Miracle Fighters. Because staple in everything. Yeah. It's just gonna go. You know how its superhero time almost hit 60? If Miracle Fighters, if it doesn't get a reprint shortly after Blazing Overclash, it will hit 60 no problem, as long as all those decks do well.
I think it's fair to say, like, if any triple rare dual world spell card could fit on that list, right? There's the
Darkness Rune.
Yep. There's the LDO
No.
Star Dragon one.
No, because that's only specific to LDO.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying all of them are good and all of
Yes.
them end up expensive.
Yes, this is true. This is true. And then a third one, huh? I could just go with Darkness Rune just to be simple and simplistic because it's triple rare. Makes sense to go with it. But oh no, I can't remember what it is. Jacob, do you remember the name of the card that's Death Grip, but then also allows you to set a spell?
Betrayal or something like that?
Yeah, Betrayal. I'd like that one. Roxas, no, we can't do cards that aren't out. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you can't reprint something when it's not even out yet. That would just be printing it.
Yeah, but I think that would be a good 3 right there.
Yeah.
For a dual world card.
Yeah.
All right, now off into the 100 demon section.
No,
we did worlds, not flags. I'm a little sad. I would love to do some 100 demons, executioners, guardians, Zwei, Ein, more chaos. Even though chaos kind of snuck its way on here, because
so did Zwei.
Yeah.
As it stands,
And executioners.
I think the list we got would be amazing as a set. And honestly, regardless of what cards are on it, I would love to see an actual set like this in existence. Boucher likes to sprinkle in reprint cards into sets, but right now that's just not enough. So a full reprint set would be very appreciated by the players.
You know what, Jacob? I think I know what we need to do. We're going to leave up the next live stream down to if they want to see the flags and their reprints. You should do a post on our YouTube community of yes or no. You should do that. So then we can see if you guys really want to see it. Otherwise, that basically wraps it up from us. Thanks again for joining. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell to get the notifications, though. Follow us on Discord. Join our Discord. Follow us on Instagram if Jacob ever posts anything there. I don't know if he does. Do you?
Not enough.
You should change that. You can support us on Patreon or checking out our shop. All links in the description down below. And above all else, stay classy, y'all.
Time to figure out if my outro button works. Nope. No. That's the right one?
Yeah, that's...
Thanks for listening to TCG Buzz. New episodes can be found on tcgbuzz.com.
Bye.
Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. For box openings, deck profiles, and more, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.